Oh my goodness, I don't even know. I don't even know what I absolutely saw on Saturday night. I don't. What kind of words can we use to describe what we saw last night during the WNBA All-Star Game? I would say embarrassment. I would say garbage. I would say trash. I would say a joke of a game with an opportunity for the league itself. The league itself to show you that they are serious about what they are trying to do. You got an absolute piss poor, pathetic performance last night. No defense, no intensity, no passion, no heart. Unbelievable disgrace by the league. And that's where we start on a Sunday edition of On Cue. Rich Quinones here. Like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to also get in on the conversation. Keep it going. Let's have a little free-flowing engagement. And as always, be respectful with the comments. I thought last night was an abomination. I did. I thought last night it just totally set back the sport of basketball. I mean, it was so brutal to watch. And I'll throw it out there right now. I don't even know who watched that game last night. Who watched that game? Who didn't watch that game? Because last night was the perfect example of just, when you've got something and you can build upon it and you can finally silence the critics, you can finally turn around and you have an opportunity to showcase some great talent, and you get a game where there's absolutely zero defense. Team Spoon wins at 129-122 over Team Coop. And at the end of the day, man, just flat out embarrassing. It was flat out embarrassing. It's bad enough that you have this league that is not taken serious. It's bad enough that you have all the hate and you have some of the fan bases divided and you have the players pissing on the stars and their franchise players in the face of the league, and you have a commissioner that's absolutely clueless and doesn't even know what side of the date is, what side is up. I mean, it's really bad. It's really bad. And then what happens last night? Last night, you've got an opportunity to put together a really good product and showcase talent for a fan base that's spending damn good hard-earned money to come out and watch the product. And you proceed to just muck it up. Miss layups, miss bunnies, no defensive intensity, zero effort. Yeah, you get a record crowd, but it was a terrible product. You shouldn't be proud of what you saw last night. You shouldn't be proud of what you put out there last night if you're the league. That's an embarrassment. It's an embarrassment. You look at last year's All-Star Game. There were at least 3 free throws attempted, 24 last season in the 2025 WNBA All-Star Game. You had a total of 5 last night and a total of 122 combined three-point shots, three-point attempts. So I don't care who wins the MVP. I don't care what Clark did. I don't care what any of these players. I don't care what Wilson did. I don't care what, like I said, Cece did. I don't care what Jones did. I don't care who won the MVP. I don't care. It was an abomination. You finally have an opportunity in front of a good audience, right? National window, national spotlight, get you on Saturday night, prime time, to go out and show that there's competitive spirit, to go out and show that you're going to sit there and you're going to play defense. I'm not asking people to go out there and play like it's a game friggin' 7, but oh my God, can you give me something last night? Can you give me something last night? That was embarrassing. Like, that was absolutely embarrassing. I mean, I've seen more effort on a Saturday at the YMCA. What the hell is the point of having these festivities and these weekends if you're going to sit there and not play? And again, I get it. You don't want any player to get hurt, but come on, man. It was. I feel bad for people that paid for that nonsense. I really do. And I'm not getting. I don't give a shit about an alley oop in an All-Star game because it was girl. I don't care about any of that. I don't. This league People want to know why they can't take the league serious. I give you last night. You have all this crap going on with the league. You have all this nonsense going on with the league. And then you have people that want to buy merchandise and spend hard-earned money and invest their time and go to one of these events, go to an All-Star weekend, the driving, the gas, the tolls, the parking, you bring the family, and then you sit there and you throw out that crap last night. That's an embarrassment. And then you get these announcers that are almost like, it's like an awkward laugh. I mean, the Angel Reese thing was just like the coup de grace. So I got to sit here and defend this friggin' product, and it was garbage. It was absolutely garbage. That's all. That's all. I mean, it's just, you can't sit there in one breath and, you sit there, you want to defend the product, which I have. You want to defend the league, which I've had. And I understand All-Star games are supposed to be fun. They are supposed to be fun, right? But you see competitive nature. You see competitive spirit. I understand the NFL, it's different because it's such a violent sport, and that's why they changed what they did with their Pro Bowl and all the other nonsense. In the NBA, it doesn't matter because you're still going to watch the second half of the NBA season because they're always going to get the eyeballs, period, especially come playoff time. Then you look at baseball, and you know what? They're going out there. They're trying to swing. They're trying to pitch. They're not lackluster. And then you get the NHL, and they do a lot of the skills competition. Okay, fine, but you have an opportunity yesterday to silence a lot of critics, to go out and actually play hard. I'm not, yesterday was the perfect example. Last night was the perfect example for the league. The perfect example for these players to get a little chippy, to get a little spicy, to do a little yapping, to show a little competitive fire and spirit, play a little lockdown defense. I'm not saying play dirty. I'm not saying play physical, but play hard. Play hard. Really? Just play hard. That is, again, that's all you wanted. That's all you wanted, because there's a sentiment of the fan base. There's fans out there that watch these games. We watch these games. I flipped it on for 5-10 minutes, and then I started prepping for another broadcast later in the night. Then I flipped it back on. I said, enough is enough. This is trash. This is garbage. I can't defend this nonsense anymore. I can't. What a piss-poor product. And a shame on the players. Shame on the players for allowing that crap to go on. Seriously. Shame on them. You get to the line 4 times, you're chucking 60-something out threes. I mean, even last year, they got to the line a little bit. It was competitive here and there. It's just, the league hasn't sustained this type of controversy over the last several years. And we saw it this year. And that's why it was imperative for them to get out in there. It was imperative to get in front of it. And I'll get to the commissioner, Humperdinck, in a moment, who again continues to drop the ball. Absolutely continues to drop the ball. Like, you can't sit there and say the league isn't good. If that's how you're going to treat the fan base, is that's how you're going to treat the product and do damage to the product and not take it serious, that's absolutely embarrassing. It really is. And I don't care, Jones, I don't care. Last year, I don't care. She won the regular season MVP a couple years ago. And, here we go. She deserves it and all that other stuff. And Caitlin was shooting the threes and 225 shot attempts. That's embarrassing. Everyone's talking, that game. What game's in ship? Seriously, you get Angel Reese basically a free rein to the bucket and got blocked. Then trips. You can't take this crap serious. You can't. You can't. You really can't. And the announcers, shame on them. And the media prior to, shame on them. They're so afraid to get their media pass pulled, they don't want to ask questions. I mean, listen, did you guys watch the game last night? I posted it on the channel. Did you watch the game last night? Did you watch it? And again, I'm not comparing this to other sports because at the end of the day, look, the NBA All-Star Game used to be fun, man. It used to be fun, and it used to be competitive. It used to be competitive. Really, back in the day, it used to be competitive. But the difference is this. These other leagues that I bring up, and yes, I get it, in the 80s and the 90s, early 2000s, it was more physical, intense, and competitive in the 90s. We all know that. Because you had real stars. You had Barkley, you had Jordan, you had Pippen, you had Pat, you had Malone, you had Stockton. They took pride. There was heavy screens, heavy fouls, hard fouls, contested shot. That was the standard. But again, the NBA still brought eyeballs. When it was playoff time, people watched. It was a different animal. We knew about the marquee stars and the branding and the marketability, okay? You've got a league now that's been around for 30 years in the WNBA. You got a league now that, it's basically pushing the product down our face, saying, you know what, these girls can flat out play, the competitive spirit, the nature of their talent. And then you got the face of the league and Caitlin Clark, who every other commercial was on last night. You got all these other, players. And you can tell, by the way, if we walked away from a couple things over the weekend, this commissioner is done after this year. Whether she's fired or she steps aside, and this league can't stand Caitlin Clark. I mean, that's the worst kept secret in the league. You might have some players that like her, but as a whole, 99% can't stand her. I mean, you listen to what these players said during the weekend when they're asking all these, softball-ass questions and this and that. It's like they just totally gloss over Caitlin Clark. But that's another story for another day. But the league had an opportunity to shine last night because people were looking at it like it's a watered-down joke of a product. And all you had to do was play competitive basketball. I'm not saying dirty basketball. Take pride, competitive basketball. Set screens, flash, get up and down the floor, work up a friggin' sweat, contest shots. And they couldn't do any of that last night. They couldn't do any of that. So for everyone that then sits there and comes out, and I've defended, I can't tell you how many shows we've done regarding the league. You bring that crap product to our television sets, to our eyeballs, and you make people pay money for it, give them their money back, period. Skywalker chimes in, they should cancel the WNBA All-Star Game. JS chimes in, Caitlin was bold to call out the players to play hard at halftime, but there was not much improvement. Caitlin cares. Her ticket, $400, JS. $400. Plus driving, gas, tolls, parking. You're going to get a jersey. You're going to get a pamphlet. You're going to get a brochure. You're going to eat. You're going to get merchandise. Are you kidding me? 400 and some change to watch that? That's embarrassing. I feel bad. It wasn't even a game. That's the problem. It honestly looked like a glorified scrimmage. It looked like a glorified scrimmage. I mean, at least last year, you got to the line. Team Coop last night, 1 of 1 from the line. Team Spoon last night, 3 of 4. They shot 61 three-pointers, and then Team Coop shot 66. Over 225 shots from the floor. Disgusting. Disgusting. Give me some effort. I'm not asking for much, man. Give me some effort. And again, you've turned off a lot of people. You've turned off a lot of people. You can talk about the growth of the league. You can talk about the growth under Kathy Engelbert. We get it. We understand the expansion, the revenue, the eyeballs. Again, no one's disputing that. None of that kind of stuff. You can talk about the CBA, salaries increase, and then you're sitting there saying to yourself, you got Angel Reese sitting there with a $45,000, $50,000 friggin' purse, complains, bitch, whines, and complain about the pay, and then she can't even friggin' make a layup. You got a defender that won't even jump to block it. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. The league should be ashamed of itself. You set basketball back. Everyone tries to be fair and nice, claiming many players are elite, but it's simply not that case. Listen, I think Get Up My Darling does a great handle. Appreciate you chiming in on this Sunday. I think there's talent in the league. I do. I think there's a handful of players that are talented. And I'm not saying during the regular season some of these players don't play hard. That's not what I'm insinuating. But we know the defense, or lack thereof, is a major issue with this league. And we also know it is saturated. It is watered down, to your point. It's top heavy with some really good players, and then, the bottom is the bottom. And I mentioned this Upshot league that I have respect for. That's a feeder league. That's a feeder league to try to grow the talent. But you can't tell me last night that was the best of the best. So if this is what you sell to the fans? That's my problem. That is my problem. If you're going to sit there and everyone's trying to defend defend the league, right? Everyone's talking about it, right? You got to take it serious. We go out, we put it on the line. We play hard. We want to win. We can't stand the hate. We deserve to make money. Okay, take that same mindset and that same freaking pride and that chip on your shoulder, and let me see you on a Saturday night in Chicago during the All-Star Game. Show me. Show me. Like, seriously, show me. If that's the case, if you got wall-to-wall stars and everyone's claiming to be the face of the franchise, the face of the league, and I saw that crap last night, and you get the announcers that are actually, again, it's like the awkward laugh. I mean, my God, I'm sorry. I would have called out the product, but nobody wants to do that. Even these members of the media, first of all, you have an opportunity to speak to the commissioner, and you're so scared you're going to get your friggin' media pass revoked. You have no problem. The friggin' WNBA media, I'm sorry, some of them are a bunch of friggin' jackass clowns. Like, go away. You're not journalists. You're not reporters. You're not beat guys, period. Beat women. You have no business covering this league because, quite frankly, you don't know what the hell you're doing. You kiss ass is what you do. You pick and choose. That was an embarrassment. Embarrassment. That's all it was. It was a shit product. And to allow fans, if you were a fan and you went there and you paid for it, I feel bad for you, man. Get your money back. Ask for a refund. Get a voucher. Get something. Get something. I mean, every time I flipped it on, you know I'm a Caitlin Clark. She's chucking it from the logo. Like, all right, here we go. I get it. But come on. Yeah, Jones, 23 points, 13 rebounds, 8 assists. Hey, that's unbelievable. Come on, no one gives a shit because no one friggin' played defense. What a farce. What a farce, man. What an absolute farce. And you got to sit there now. It's got to marinate today, tomorrow, and then you get set for the second half of the season. Every time this league has an opportunity to do something right, that's the key. To do something right or to at least silence some of the critics and the naysayers, they dropped the ball, top to bottom. So I blame the league, the commissioners, the coaches, and the coaches last. It was embarrassing. That's why nobody wants to watch a WNBA because they don't want to give a good product. Look, people watch. People watch. They watch. I mean, there have been some really good and riveting games leading up to the break. But my whole point is this. With the backdrop of all the controversy, the backdrop of these fans now going off on players barking back, the race issue, the gay, straight, the black, white, the commissioner with her head up her ass, you know, the friction with all these players and Caitlin Clark, what Sophie Cunningham said, you know, Bucket said. You got an opportunity to like wipe all that away and just for one night put on a good product to let certain people or the masses or the media kind of forget about it. And instead, it's almost as though you want to invite people to mock the product even more because of what you put out. Like if I'm playing in that game, I'm embarrassed. That's something I don't want to be a part of. I'm absolutely embarrassed. Next year, no thank you. If this is how it's going to go down, I don't think so, man. I'm going to save myself. Then guess what? If I'm the only ass on the floor playing hard, don't get pissed off. Don't get embarrassed. If I start fouling people and getting frustrated. Like, that would have been something last night. That would have been the story. Imagine if Clark all of a sudden got up in an uproar and started playing defense and clapping and locking down and knocking threes and getting in people's faces and the refs. Oh, my God, that would be a national story. But the league had an opportunity to, again, take back, control the narrative. Flip the script. And they didn't. There's a difference playing hard, I'm not saying that. I'm saying play competitive. What is so wrong with playing competitive friggin' basketball? Is that a problem? And you know the difference last year, right? You had Team WNBA and you had it against U.S. Women's National Team. If you recall. Like, do something or get away, or just scrap it. Just scrap it at the end of the day. Because I got news for you. There were no winners. There weren't. There were no winners last night. You're going to sit there and say, generational shooting star. No, there weren't. You saw the shooting stars competition replace the skills challenge on Friday. Okay, great. We know some of these girls can shoot. Jones racking up them. It's low-bearing fruit, man. It's low-bearing fruit, period. And I can't take these former players anymore. Just go away, man. Just retire. Go golf. Just go away with some of your comments and your viewpoints. Just shut up already, please. Your time has passed, man. Period. Your time has passed. Nobody wants to hear from you anymore. It's a new league. It's a new era. It's not basketball anymore. It's not. It's marketing 101. That's what the league has become. Branding, marketing. That's it. Who can look the best? Who can have the most sex appeal? Who can look sexy? Who can look appealing? Who can get the listeners? Who can get the followers? Who can go on IG? Who can go on X? Who can go on TikTok? Who can, draw the masses? What about the game its friggin' self? Last night, I don't care how good you looked walking in, you look like garbage on the floor. That's not basketball, man. And the fans should not have to endure that or pay for that kind of crap. They shouldn't. You can tell you people don't even watch the NBA. The NBA don't play hard either. It's in the middle of the season. Nobody trying to get hurt. Bro, what are you talking about? Freaking covered the NBA for years, man. I know what I'm talking about. I watch the NBA. I do this for a living. You're comparing the NBA to what we saw last night. The NBA is not under a microscope like this league is. So you're so off base with that. In the 90s, it was totally a different animal. Totally different animal. Even in the early 2000s. Don't compare the NBA to the WNBA because that shows me you don't know what you're talking about. Okay? We know the NBA. We know what it's become. All-Star Weekend. We get it. That's why a lot of these players, the dunk contest used to mean something. The three-point contest used to mean something. But at least in the playoffs, you're going to ratchet up the intensity. We get it. We understand that. You already know what the product is. You're not fearful of people turning a blind eye to the product. My point is not to compare with these other leagues because it's a piss-poor comparison. That's a bad comp. It's apples and oranges. Period. Period. You've got a league that's been under the microscope since the get-go. You got a league that's even more scrutinized after the foul on Caitlin Clark by Thomas. You got a league that every other day we're talking about what? Race relations, black, white, gay, straight. You got a league where the fan base are prejudiced. Some are racist. Some are sports bettors that are degenerates going after players. You got a player in Caitlin Clark that everyone seems to just hate. Period. You got old school veteran players coming out pissing on current players because they lost their gloss, they lost their shine. You got a commissioner that has no idea how to address the topics at hand. You got a commissioner that sits there and doesn't go on Dan Patrick's show hitting golf balls 15 yards away. You got a commissioner that's not taking hard questions from a freaking cowardly media. So don't sit there and tell me about the NBA when we already know about the NBA. We talk about it all the time. What I'm talking about is this league, and last night you had an opportunity to flip the freaking script. You had an opportunity to put out a damn good product and have fun, competitive sport and nature and make it a compelling game, a hard-fought game where you're bringing in new eyeballs and a new fan base, and they're going to sit there and going to follow you throughout the second half of the season. And instead, you got embarrassment. You got over 55 playing at the YMCA, working off Coors Light that they drank on a Friday, trying to work up a sweat. Come on, anyone else see the problem with that? Horrible, man. Embarrassing. Ashley chimes in. They wanted to stop CC, but that didn't happen. She came out to play, and the Olympic team lost. Ever since it's been this BS. Listen, you know who the players are, right? You know who the players are, period. Period. Right? But sometimes you're out on the floor and you're playing with bad talent. It's totally going to filter in the rest of the talent and make it look like a piss-poor product. And if you're hurt, then you don't participate in the game. No one's saying go out, balls to the wall like it's Game 7 of the finals. Jazzy, I get it, man. I get it. You want to see the thing with it? Yeah, well, here, hold on a second. Let me show this. You're going to tell me this is something I'm paying $400 for, a ticket, a pop. Okay? If you're not going to play hard, then don't go. I'd rather have younger players switch the format. I'd rather pull up players than, mix and match a league and have your all-stars go against whatever, man. Do something overseas, cross-promote, cross-brand. But what I saw last night's embarrassing. After the first 5 minutes, I said, this is garbage. This is garbage. So you tell me, as a fan, I should watch and respect this, right? Because the excuse is it's the All-Star Game and people don't play hard and spend $400. This is, seriously? Can't do it. I can't. Not as a purist, not as a fan, not as someone that covers the sport, not as someone that calls games in the States and overseas. I can't watch that crap.
They hit that one as Clark went for the steal on Angel Reese. Asia Wilson getting the ball and then saying, hey, I wasn't even trying to there. Angel Wilson and Angel Reese hugging, laughing about it.
Oh,
and now Angel goes down. Oh, no, Angel goes down now. And Angel Wilson has to pick her up. Unable to hit that one as Clark went for the steal on Angel Reese. Asia Wilson getting the ball.
That's the basketball you guys think. And the announcers with the friggin', enough with the stop with the down goes Frazier. That's embarrassing. I could rip off 1,000 highlights, man. There's no pride. And if you're freaking hurt, then guess what? Don't go. Let others that are deserving. Don't just show up to show what? To make a friggin' fashion statement with a $50,000 purse and then waltz down the court and get blocked by a defender that doesn't jump and then trip over backward? Get the hell out of here. That's not... What's the talent in that? Because every year it's all about, the snubs. Can you believe who got snubbed in this All-Star game? Who got snubbed here? Who got snubbed there? Then don't go. That's selfish. If you're hurt, you're banged up, you want to rest, then don't go. Then don't go, period. The fan base will understand. At least you're being transparent. At least you're being honest. If you're really genuinely hurt. But if you're going to show up and you're going to sit there and what? Half-ass it? And you're going to sell me that's basketball? That's inspiring? That motivates young girls to go out there and play? Come on, man. It beyond a shit show. Beyond a shit show. If I'm a fan and I went last night, I got suckered, man. And the other thing is this. And by the way, every player's to blame last night, by the way. Every player's to blame last night. Period. For allowing that crap to happen. Seriously, every player. It's not about X, Y, or Z. Because I was watching Clark chuck it from the logo. I get it. You want to make a couple in the oohs and ahs. 15 three-pointers, no thank you. Malanga, 17 field goals, no thank you. Right? Great player. I love her. I think she's fantastic. Jones, 17, 8 of 17, 4 of 11 from, 20 of 61. It's not about, at the end of the day, we look at the stats, fine, because that's what happens when you have a crap game like that, an embarrassing game like that. My point is this. If you are the league, you've got an opportunity to show the naysayers. You've got an opportunity, all the critics that have just come out of the woodwork, man, all the crap, to silence people, to really shut them up and say, hey, this is a good product. These girls play hard. They have respect and pride for the game, and it was laughable. And I'm sure some players were uncomfortable by it, but they were also part of the problem. Should give something to play for rookies versus sophomore championship versus not. Something, man. Make it competitive. Remember when the All-Star Game decided, hey, this is what we're going to do for the World Series home field advantage? Like something to incentivize them. And it doesn't always have to be about the almighty dollar. It doesn't. It doesn't. It's not about, the buck, period. And like I said, I like some of these players in this league. You guys, if you're a first timer, I've defended a lot of these players. I mean, last week when the crap was going on with Brondello and Angel Reese, how many times did I come out on the air and said I like Angel Reese? I didn't like what I saw last night. I didn't like the comments. I didn't like the goofiness. But I understand she's actually a better rebounder than people give her credit for. You guys know I'm a Clark fan. I'm a Wilson fan. I'm a Mitchell fan. I'm a Billings fan. I'm a Buckets fan. I like the league. It's not about me, liking the league or not. And oh, by the way, don't dismiss being critical and a hater, because that shows you guys don't know what the hell you're talking about. You're allowed to have an opinion with a player you like. It doesn't mean you're a friggin' hater. And you're allowed to give kudos to a player you don't like. It doesn't mean that you're trying to friggin' kiss their fanny, kiss their ass. But last night was a disgrace. It was an embarrassment for the league and these players, and the fans deserved more. That's all. You can gloss over it. You can look at the stats. You can go through every friggin' single play, and the Reese highlight was just a microcosm of the lack of effort they gave. Period. Period. Don't give me the crap about who I like and who I don't like. If you're just tuning in, then catch up. Watch some of the other shows we've been talking about. I've defended this league, man. I can't defend the commissioner. I can't defend the commissioner because the commissioner, again, continues to drop the ball, period. Cece just got discussed, and then she was iced out. I was hoping she would start crashing boards again and then defend. Wasn't going to happen, Ash. It wasn't. It wasn't going to happen. They look, we know the league is so petty, they don't want to give shine anywhere. Anywhere. Period. So they're going to bitch, whine, and complain that they want to make more money, and then they're going to go out and they're going to charge fans X amount of dollars, and you're going to give me that effort. Listen, if you gave me effort, if you showed a little spunk, if you showed a little chippiness, some defense, some passion, some heart, a little toughness, something, then I walk away saying, man, these girls played hard. Yeah, I like this product. But if you're a casual and you don't follow the league or you don't watch the league, you walked away saying, what a joke of a league. What a joke of a league. I mean, I felt, there are some players wanted to go out and play hard, and the rest wouldn't allow it. That is an issue. That is an issue, period. You got to take the game serious. Serious. You got to take the game serious, man. I don't care what the NBA does. I don't care what MLB does. I don't care about the Pro Bowl back in the day when Sean Taylor used to jack people up. We understand football is so violent. You're not going to lose a quarterback in the friggin' Pro Bowl. You're not. And half the time, they're not playing, especially if they make the playoffs, because they understand that they're smart. This is a midseason in a league that at times looks watered down and people don't take the product serious. It's not. I'm telling you, overseas, they're going to play with more pride. These other leagues are going to play with more pride. I call games. I get it. I see it firsthand. What I saw last night, you start flipping through the dial. You're like, God, I actually thought it was a warm-up when I went back to the TV because I was prepping for an overnight broadcast, and I flipped it back on. I literally thought they were warming up when I just saw them walk the ball across the timeline and Caitlin Clark shoot it from the logo. And then the zero defense. It's just the league continues to just sabotage itself. Serious. That's all they're doing. They're sabotaging themselves. They got an opportunity. They have an opportunity to do right. Period. And they don't want to do it. That is a major, major, major problem. Major problem. You can tell who was trying. Like, look, if that game was serious, you can tell. You can tell if it was a serious game. But it wasn't. They showed zero pride last night. And it's hard when you have a player that wants to play with energy and passion, and then you got to watch the rest of the crop. Like, I guarantee if Clark's out there, what was she, 6 of 17, 5 of 15, all right, whatever. A couple rebounds. Shepard had a couple rebounds as well. Wilson had a couple rebounds, 12 points. I mean, I'm looking at the box score right now, right? Jones with 22 and 13, 8 assists, almost a triple-double. And you look at the box score, you say, oh, man, they balled out. No, they didn't, because nobody friggin' played defense, so anyone can light it up. Anyone can stat pad in that regard. But again, please don't get it twisted. I'm not comparing with these other leagues, because these other leagues have not been under microscope like this league. And it brings me to the commissioner, by the way, who really has her head up her ass. And shame on the media, who has an opportunity, even if you have the commissioner, for several minutes. Right? For several minutes. T-Squared says, Q, at the end of the day, Clark's the only damn player in the league that understands you perform and entertain for the fans. It's sports entertainment. It's sports entertainment, period. Period. But I respect you more if you actually go out and play hard and you're making those contested shots. Not an Olay, here you go, Matador defense. Come on, don't get sucked into that. Seriously, don't get sucked into that. I mean, I'm watching 1-on-3. They all back up. They all literally back up 10 feet, 20 feet, 30 feet, 10 yards. Just give her an uncontested 3. Yeah, it's all good. It's all fun. That's great. If you believe in that. And again, the former players, I'm tired of it. SP chimes in, Q, how about no one on the pregame pick Clark to win the MVP? Because they can't stand her. We're past that. We are past that. The league can't stand this girl, period. We're past it. We're past it. You can listen to, Paige on her podcast, talk about the jealousy thing, and you give credit to a 20-something-year-old that actually comes out in a minute instead of other people trying to gaslight and try to friggin' rain on the parade. It's not about one single player, period. It's not. We've addressed it ad nauseum. They can't stand this girl. The league looks in the mirror and they hate themselves, which is crazy when you think about it. It's about playing with a little pride and purpose for the fans, because all we talk about at the end of the day, right, it's all about the fans, because without fans, you don't make dick. You don't make diddly. No one's buying the merchandise. No one's buying tickets. You're not getting paid a salary. And because this league has been hammered left and right over the last several months, period, you had an opportunity to flip the script. Flip the script. I know that I sound disagreeable and unpleasant here, but it's not that fun to watch without Caitlin. It is what it is. A lot of the players are mental cases that Caitlin has to placate to. I mean, look, you're entitled to your opinion. I want to call them mental cases, honestly, because, I think these players, are heavily scrutinized. For whatever reason it is, this league can't get out of their own way. So everything a player says, whether you're a starter, an all-star, an MVP caliber player, or a friggin' role player, we grab it and it's thrown on social media and everyone makes a big deal about it. Period. Mike chimes in on X, I can't believe all the players pre-interview, no one gave any kudos or respect or love to Caitlin. They're not going to. I think we've belabored that point. That dog's not going to hunt anymore. This is her lot in life in this league. Nobody likes her. And when I say nobody, fans love her, and I'm sure sentiment of some of the players, but if you poll the league, every single player, I would say 95% of the players want her out of the league. They can't stand her because what she brings to the table and the attention she garners. It's not about one said player. It's about a league that people tend to piss on and don't take serious. So last night, you basically justified, you validated their line of thinking. How do I take it serious? And don't come at me, it's an all-star game, Q. It's supposed to be fun. There's a difference. Fun, competitive, and a joke. And last night was a joke. It was a disgrace. It's bad enough when you watch some of these games, the shot selection is poor. It's ISO. Forget about pick and roll. They're missing bunnies. They're missing layups. It's bad at times. It's bad at times. But last night, if you're going to put your best foot forward, give me something. Give me something. That's all. Ivan chimes in. I had fun watching Caitlin Clark playing the All-Star game yesterday. Kelsey Mitchell, I can care less. All right, listen, you're in a minority. Because people are blasting what we saw last night. And I'm glad you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed it, great. But you got to think long term, right? You can't say who cares, because then you can't sit there and say, nobody takes the league that I love serious. Well, come on, man. What'd you see last night? A shit show. So in one breath, you can't sit there and get all bent out of shape when people are pissing on the league, and then in the next breath say, well, I don't care. I enjoyed it last night. Hey, you have every right to enjoy it. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I really am. If you enjoyed the weekend, fantastic. But me, I didn't enjoy it. And I gave you my reasons why. Because the league has been under the microscope. The league has been one of the most talked about, highly critical leagues, period. And this is what you get. Bad product. That's all. You get a bad product. If she had won MVP, I would not have given a flip. I actually thought Miles would win. Yeah, MVP means nothing in an All-Star game. It means nothing. But I don't know how some of you guys can sit back and actually just say, hey, it is what it is. Caitlin Clark, haters in the live chat. It is what it is. It is what it is. And like I said, if you're new to the show, you don't know what the show's about. You guys can come at me all you want. Be respectful with the commenters. Like, comment, subscribe. I've been doing this a long time. I've been doing this a minute. If you haven't listened to the dialogue and the debates and the analysts on the league over the last several weeks, then maybe you got to get caught up to speed, and that's okay. You can't bitch, whine, and complain if you're the players and sit there and say, nobody fucking takes us serious, and then put that type of product out on the floor last night. That is why no one takes you serious. Period. It's not even up for debate. It isn't. It's not up for debate. You can't bitch, whine, and complain that you're not making enough. You're not marketable. There's no branding. There's no eyeballs. And then basically waltz down the floor and get rejected on a layup, trip over your feet, or miss wide open layups and laugh and mock about it. Come on, man. You can't. I take you more serious if there's effort. I take you more serious if there's pride in what I'm seeing. There wasn't. I guarantee you. Come Tuesday, you know how many people are going to sit there and say, I don't give a shit about the second half after what I saw Saturday night? That's a joke. Michael chimes in. Rich is 100% correct on this. It's not about, and Michael, I appreciate it, pal. It's not really like correct or not. It's just, it is what it is. Right? You guys are getting it twisted, man. You can get hurt walking off the charter plane. You can get hurt walking off the bus. You can get hurt walking down the steps. Come on. You can't give me that excuse. You can't. Tuesday night, if you're lackluster and you're not getting back on D, you can trip over your own shoes. You can trip over your sneakers. You can get your feet tangled. You can, no landing zone and tearing on any play. But last night, there's a difference between playing hard and smart and not playing at all. Did you guys watch did we watch the same game? It's a dribble. Walk it up. Oops, I missed the layup. Walk it up. Let me wave to everyone. Walk it up. What? Stop. Seriously. Then let younger players play. Then let vets who never played in the All-Star game, let them play. Incentivize. Do something. You can get hurt anytime. I'm not saying treat it like Game 7 of the friggin' NBA Finals or a playoff series. But come on. You're charging fans X? You're charging them Y? Not good. Then get rid of the game. Scrap it. It set basketball back. It almost validates and justifies people's thinking of this league that it's trash and garbage. And that's not fair to some of the players. It's not. It's really not fair to some of these players that really want the game to be competitive, man. Can you imagine if this game was like, what we saw a couple weeks ago? Even though Seattle came back from 17 down against Indiana, that was a competitive game. That was a hell of a game, man. That was a fun game to watch. That was a competitive. It felt like a playoff game. It did. It felt like a playoff game. The game against the Storm, that was a great game. That gave you like a playoff feel. They were playing hard, man. It got chippy. It was a fun game to watch. That was not fun last night. That was a turnoff. And the commissioner should be embarrassed because, again, man, you got to get it out there. Play hard. Remember, Who's supporting the product? The fans. The fans are supporting the product. Maria, how are you? ¿Qué tal? How are you? How are you? They are supporting the product, period. That's all. They're the ones that are paying, man. They're the ones that are sitting there. They're giving you the eyeballs. They're the ones that are buying tickets and merchandise and jerseys and apparel and following these players on social media. That was such a joke. CC was the only one who said that. We need to give the fans a show who spend so much money there. That is my point. It was a joke. You are adding fuel now. You're giving the naysayers more ammunition, is what I'm trying to say. You're giving the naysayers more ammunition. You're giving them fodder, man. You're giving now these journalists that cover sports, not even the ones that cover the WNBA, or the fans that want to sit there and say, well, I would love to go to a game, but I'm going to this crap. You give them more bullets in the chamber. And the commissioner looks even worse. You know, even prior to, you got to sit there and say, you know what? We want to go out there and we want to put on a hell of a product. We want to show everyone what this league is about. And I know these girls are going to play hard. That's all. They're going to play hard. And the problem is, if your line of thinking is, oh, yeah, you just go and then you can't bitch and complain. You cannot bitch, whine, and complain when the league's not taken serious. Some of you guys are clueless, man. I respect the opinions. I respect you chiming in. But I'm telling you, I don't want to hear it anymore. I can't defend some of these players. I can't. And don't even get me started with the media, because the media is on the league payroll. The media is unbelievable. The commissioner's talking, right? So, yeah, you want to talk about a replay center for 2027. You know, you close out that investigation. Player safety, officiating. You know, you're growing the league globally. Did any reporter ask the commissioner about the elephant in the room? None of them did. None of them did. None of them. You have an opportunity where you have the commissioner right there, and you can sit there and say, by the way, you've got the face of the league. Is there any concern of the treatment of one Caitlin Clark? How do you want to address Caitlin Clark? How do you want to address what's going on regarding Caitlin Clark and the intense media scrutiny, the fan backlash, how the players treat her, the officiating bias against her? It's not for her. The media coverage where the player has to come out and say, don't make accusations like you know who I am. Again, it's just, you had an opportunity, and good for her, good for Caitlin Clark, unload on the media. When she's got to come out and say, don't make accusations about my character. We know what your character is. We know you come from a good place. That woman for USA Today is a jackass. The other idiots and goofballs that sit there and want to line you with Congress and call you Confederate Kate and all this other stuff because they send a letter to the league, they're jackass. They're dangling the carrot. They're using you as bait. Don't subscribe into it. Don't buy into it. But how about this? The media, who has no problem sticking a microphone in some of these players' faces and asking them, how come you don't support trans athletes? How come you don't support black or white issues? How come you don't support gay or straight? How come you don't support... You've got... Now, the media has no problem asking the players that crap. The media has no problems, you know, belaboring that point. Belaboring that point. And going back and forth constantly. Hammering these kids, hammering these 20-year-olds, asking them to speak up, asking them that they need to have an opinion on what's going on with the world events and all this other crap. And now you've got an opportunity with the commissioner right there, microphone in hand, and you don't go after her. Gutless. That is a gutless media. That is a gutless bunch of media. You're not even media. You're a bunch of freaking classless, cowardly clowns. You don't go after the commissioner. You're right there. This is the perfect time. This is the perfect time to say, oh, by the way, Humperdinck, question for you. You know, why is the league pissing on Caitlin Clark? Not in those words. What's with the officiating? Why is it slanted? Why is it against Caitlin Clark? What, have you addressed, Kathy, the physicality of the game? Is this something you're going to look out and maybe hold these referees more accountable the second half of the season, especially regarding Caitlin Clark, the face of the league? Are you going to do something about the officiating? Are you going to hold them more accountable? What about some of these players coming out and saying what they're saying? You want to talk a little bit about the hate, the racism, the prejudice. I'm all for it, man. I don't condone any of that crap. You want to get on the fans and you want to call out the fans. You want to get on player safety. You can do all that. You can do all that. But I can say this. You have to. You got to figure out a way. You have to figure out a way. If you are the commissioner, you need to speak and address the topics, the elephant in the room. Lou chimes in, the All-Star Game is some of the worst sports programming I've ever seen. No competition, actual visible embarrassment. If a shredded defense is played, who wants to see 300 points scored with uncontested layups and open threes? Nothing entertaining about this. I agree. 100%. Then you know what you do? Nonchalantly, just do away with the game. Do away with the game. Because it's a bad look. But I'm really, this media, man, you got to be held accountable. You have to. If you are so adamant that you have to go after, Cunningham and constantly, put the microphone in her face and try to trip her up. You want to go after a Sandy Brodello and try to trip her up. But yet Angel Reese can sit there and say, I'm not going to take any more questions. I'm going to address it once. Or you don't press, a page a little bit. But yet you want to go after Caitlin Clark. You want to talk about the trans athletes. You want to talk about the race relations. You need to step up as the face of the league and talk about what's going on in society. And now you've got an opportunity with the microphone in your hand and the commissioner of the league standing 5 feet away from you, and you don't ask her the questions that the fans want to know. You don't ask her the questions that the players want to know about. That's embarrassing. Embarrassing. Unbelievable. What a disgrace. All-Star Game is just about scoring. No defense, not worth watching. Won't make that mistake again. It was bad. Dennis, it was bad. I agree with you. And all it did is add more fuel to the fire of this league. Is a shit show. It's a shit show. Period. It's a shit show. And it is what it is. This is great. Ready? Let me see. No, thank you. I'm not interested in your channel. I'm definitely unsubscribing if you don't like the way the NBA is ran. Why are you still watching it? Hypocrite. Definitely unsubscribing. Forget this fool. Ivan, see ya. No worries, brother. Don't worry. I'll sleep 8 hours. I'm good. Thank you. I'm supposed to like how the league is ran? Are you kidding me? What are you? Seriously. Respect your opinion, but you're clueless, man. You like how this league is run? What planet? What color are the clouds in your world? The league is run like garbage. It's trash. You got a divisive friggin' commissioner. You got a commissioner trying to placate everyone. You know what? I don't want you on the chat. Get out of here. You don't have to subscribe. Unsubscribe. That's fine. That's your right. I'm not going to stop my style or the engagement. What the hell are you talking about with this stuff? This league is one of the worst leagues run in professional sports. She's one of the worst commissioners in all sports. Period. You want me to sit there and placate the league and the commissioner? Why? Because you're a fan of the league and so am I? You want me to sit there and say she's doing a good job? Are you serious? What, do you got ties to her? You close to her? You know her? She's a horrible commissioner. It's divisive. They've created this, and the players have magnified the problem. It's the velvet rope theory. If you're not here, you're not getting in. So I got to have media attack these players and get on these players. So you're condoning the article by USA Today. You're condoning these reporters sticking the microphone in these players' faces and having 20-something-year-olds speak on race relations and politics. Okay, you're advocating for that because that's what you want in your player. When you want some of these kids that are absolutely green and not educated enough on the topic to basically spit the bit. I get you. Makes sense. You like the divisiveness of the league. Okay. Yeah. You like how the commissioner's trying to serve two masters. I get it. You like how the physicality is in the league and the referees in. Okay. Yeah, I got it. I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't. Then you're right. The show's not for you. Channel's not for you because you're off base. And I'm trying to be as respectful as possible. You're way off base. And it's not about liking a player, not liking a player. It's not about respecting a player, not respecting him. You're allowed to be critical of players. I got killed the other day because I sat there and said Caitlin Clark needs to mature on the floor. Ticking time bomb. And you guys were going off. You're like, oh, I thought you like. I do like Caitlin Clark. I love Caitlin Clark. I love her game. I got killed because I sat there and said, I like Angel Reese. She's turned into a hell of a rebounder, but I don't like her comments, and I don't like how she basically took the narrative of, I'm only going to speak on this once. Like, sometimes you can't win with you guys, which I'm not trying to do. The bottom line is this. Last night was a joke. And if you think it wasn't, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't know what to tell you. I have no idea, how to break it down anymore. Period. It's a bad look when you go out there and you don't give 100% and you clown around and you make a mockery of the game, especially when fans are going and they're spending hard-earned money. Do you not get it? If you would have spent $400, $500 last night, $600, and your kids want, merchandise and jerseys and all this stuff, and maybe you drop $1,000 when it's all said and done, are you driving or walking back to your car saying that was a fun time? You're probably pissed off. That's all I'm saying. And the league, it's grown. We know about that already. No one's disputing the growth of the league, and we can debate the merits and how it's grown and who's really in charge of that, who's the catalyst behind it, when we all know it's 22, period. And when you got one or two players that are trying to give the fans a decent product and every other player is letting you down, what does that tell you? They're not taking it serious. So why should we? So why should we? So now we'll see. We'll see how it unfolds in the second half. But this commissioner is beyond borrowed time. And my gripe is really also with the media, because you got an opportunity to hold the commissioner accountable. This is your opportunity during All-Star Weekend. You almost get like the State of the Union, the State of the Address from said commissioners, and you take advantage of it. When it's the All-Star Game and you get 5-10 minutes with Rob Manfred, you're going to talk about a potential lockout. You're talking about the CBA. When you get the commissioner up there, you're going to talk about the officiating. When you get Silver up there, you want to talk about what's going on in the league as far as sports betting and gambling and the shaving of points. Now you get Humperdinck up there, Kathy Engelbert, the commissioner of the WNBA, supposed to be the leader of women, inspire, right? Bring in the ratings and the revenue and the expansion. And everyone knows the 2 or 3 underlining problems of this league are what? The quality of play, the physicality towards players, and the lack of officiating. None of that, in addition to Caitlin Clark, was really addressed. That is a problem. That is a major, major, major problem. And I don't know if some of you don't see it or some of you don't want to see it. Or you're just basically saying it's much to do about nothing, which I don't think it is. Because if I wasn't adamant and passionate about the product in the league, I wouldn't be doing the show today. But I saw last night what I saw, and I didn't like what I saw. And I hated the fact that the reporters, the media, gave her an out. They gave her an out. That is a major, major issue that I take exception and umbrage with. It really is. You are letting her skirt the issue. You're not going after her at all. Like, again, you're acting as if you are the one. It was your decision about the growth of the league. She is another one. That's the problem. That's so jealous of a Caitlin Clark. See, you guys can spew and throw 10 other players in my face. The facts are this. It's not even debatable. I think, again, that dog's not going to hunt anymore. We already know what she has brought to the table as far as branding, revenue, CBA, higher salaries, ratings, merchandise, everything. Everything. So you would think the commissioner would be somewhat appreciative of that. The players would be somewhat appreciative of it. They're not. They don't care. They don't. She does not give you anything. So even when they ask her, do you expect to be the commissioner next season? She doesn't even give you a yes. She doesn't even give you a no. I already think they're trying to phase her out, or she just might decide that's it. Instead, she praises the growth of the league. Yeah, you got a couple of expansion markets. Here's the other thing. So you're addressing the media regarding player safety. So you call out the racism, you call out the hateful behavior, players have endured. How about some of the behavior that the players are laying on said players on the floor, the lack of officiating, and the treatment of Caitlin Clark? She doesn't want to do it. And shame on the media for dodging that and not asking, because they're on the friggin' payroll. They're so afraid that they're going to get their media credential revoked. Period. Period, stop. They're so afraid that someone's going to turn around and pull their pass. You're not welcome here. You're not going to cover the league. You're not going to cover the sport. No one's got the balls to go out. No one. No one. No one has the balls to go after this commissioner. It's embarrassing, man. Absolutely out. And it makes for a really bad product, which is really bad. Jazzy J, you don't get the show. You never heard me before. 25 plus years on the radio. No problem, though, brother. You keep trolling and you keep commenting, though. So you keep hanging in there, brother. Everything's going to be all right. People will defend Angel just like some Caitlin fans will do the same. Don't take it personal. Yeah, I mean, listen, it's funny because you kind of know at the end of the day, right, how it really works. And stop giving me the friggin' NBA All-Star Game. Stop. Stop. Have you listened the last hour? If you're just tuning in, stop. It's apples and oranges. Stop. I watch because it's part of my job. This is what I do. I watch overseas because I call overseas games. I watch stateside because I call stateside games. I interview players. I speak to those in the know. Last night was an abomination. Don't compare it to the NBA All-Star Game is my point. Don't. Because you already know the product of the NBA. They're never going to lose eyeballs, especially come playoff time. We already know the product of the NFL. We bitch, whine, and complain about the refereeing, but we're still going to watch the playoffs in the Super Bowl. We understand baseball. We know they want to try to speed it up. It's meant to be played slow, but we're still going to watch come October. I'm talking about a league that's been under the microscope. Do you guys not get it? Seriously, are you not paying attention? Are you not paying attention? If this league was kumbaya and the talent was unbelievable and we haven't had 5 controversies in a week, then you sit there and you say, yeah, you know what? It was laughable. Ha, 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 ha. But every other day there's a controversy in the NBA, the WNBA, pardon me. So what I'm saying is you keep compounding the problem. The problem keeps manifesting itself. Mike in Ohio chimes in. Q, half of these guys never tuned in before. They don't understand the show. It's all good. It's all good. By the way, SR 1029 FM, Odyssey app. We're doing something right. Check out the show on Q. Rich Quinones here. Like, comment, subscribe. Or if you want to unsubscribe like Aban did because he thinks I need to say that Kathy Engelbert is running a clean shit with the WNBA. Well, I don't know. I don't know if we're watching the same league, but it is what it is. It's not about watching or not watching. This is what I do for a living. We talk sports. So don't give me the, oh, dude, don't want. Get out of here with the nonsense. Just stop. Half of you guys are casuals. You don't even watch the league that are chiming in. That's the funny thing. If I said name 5 players or 5 head coaches, you'd have to research it. But you're so invested in what I'm saying regarding an All-Star game. That was horrible last night. But stop comparing it to these other All-Star games because those leagues have already been established. They're already going to have their eyeballs no matter what. And we understand come playoff time, we're going to be watching. We already know about the product. Game 7 of the World Series, Sunday night in the NFL Week 3. You're going to watch Sunday night in the NFL Week 3. You're not watching Game 7 of the World Series unless your team's playing in that market. And you're still going to watch football. That is my point. Every other week, we have an issue with this league, whether it's Thomas, whether it's the foul, whether it's the throat punch, whether it's the refereeing, whether it's flagrant 1, flagrant 2, the bad product, whether it's Bucket's comments about more black African-American head coaches in the league, whether it's Cunningham's comments on trans, whether it's Caitlin Clark, whether it's Kathy not going on Dan Patrick. Every other week, there's something. And my whole point is last night, follow me now, I know it's hard. Follow me right now. Last night, for a night, you could have basically quieted a lot of naysayers and put on a very good competitive game that was entertaining, and the players play hard. I'm not saying run through a brick wall. I'm not saying treat it like Game 7, but work up a sweat and play hard. Give the fans something they walk away, say, man, that was a good All-Star game. That was a fun game. I can't wait for the second half of the season. And instead, it looked like, it looked like an over 60 men's league on a Saturday night at the YMCA. Come on, it was bad. The commissioner, again, just, it's bad. I think she's done. I don't know if it's going to be next week. I don't think. I think at this point, you already saw some of the shots fired across the bow by Adam Silver. The fact that Adam Silver had to push for Thomas to get suspended. The fact that Adam Silver was answering some of these questions at the panel on MSNBC. The fact that Adam Silver has, hey, the officiating. I think Michael, I think the wheels are in motion, and it's probably going to play out. And who knows? She might decide to just resign after the season. She might, because no matter what, her pros, whether we want to sit here and say it's because of one player, the growth of the league. And listen, prior to her hiring, the league only had one. They only had presidents. They never had, quote, commissioners. So she basically kind of, did what she needed to do as far as, the budget sheet, right? Turn this into a $1 billion entity, have the valuation of the franchises go up, and you have a landmark CBA deal. So salaries increased. This is where, again, people are not following me. It increased by almost 400%. Think about that for a moment. So now you just had your 30th anniversary. Here we go. And I just kind of thought, again, you have league skeptics out there, right? And you had an opportunity to sit there and say, I told you so. Throw it back at them. Have a great All-Star weekend in Chicago. And everyone comes together, kumbaya. And that's not what happened. Because this weekend, if you followed it, unless you're a casual, which I think, with all due respect, some of you are. Majority of the listeners, when we talk about the league on my show that chime in religiously, follow the league. But some of the new ones, I think, are casuals. So this weekend's kind of been overshadowed by what? Conflict between the league's front office and players. Period. And go back to last year. What was it? Pay us what you owe us. Well, if that's the case, what would last night's slogan be? We owe you money? Like, what? It was bad. It was bad. So the weeks leading up to this weekend, you had all these missteps, lack of transparency, miscommunications, and this is why the media has kind of questioned. They don't say, do you deserve to be the commissioner? They say, how much longer will you be the commissioner? Like, I would press a little more. Do you believe you're fit for this job? State your case. But they didn't do that. They could have really been more proactive. And the commissioner is extremely divisive. The league creates self-inflicted wounds. They do. So the spotlight's always going to be on the league itself and not the product. Last night, you could have had the spotlight on the product, but you failed. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Joe D chimes in, Q. I can't believe someone actually thinks this league is run sufficiently. It's not. She is the worst commissioner in sports. She is. Because she really doesn't care about the product or the player. She cares about saving and protecting her ass. That's it. Go back, what was it, a year or so ago when they asked about her leadership or lack thereof, right? I wonder, would you ask that of a man? What are we doing? Divisiveness with some of the players? When you have to levy a suspension? Or you don't want to levy a suspension? When you come out and you support Thomas, but you leave Caitlin Clark on an island? When you're divisive with Collier, basically calling her a liar? Like, she's not a good commissioner. There's no leadership. Period. There's no leadership at all. Kitty chimes in. Appreciate that. Let me read this out, Kitty. I don't love the All-Star Game. It's just an event, but I get it. They don't want all the superstars doubling down, playing hard defense, risking injury, getting into the second half of the season. But was that even an event last night? Was that even a game? Can you honestly, full transparency, sit there and say that was fun to watch? Like, we always talk about the path of profitability, right? The path of revenue. That was just not basketball last night. It just wasn't. Then scrap it. Do a skills competition. Do something after the season. Make an incentive list. Do a cash prize. Seriously, turn around and do a $250,000 cash prize, All-Star Game after the season. But then you got to figure out logistically if they're still going to be inclined, if they want to, teams that are not, or scrap it. Just get rid of it. Because if you're paying $400 to watch Matador defense and people miss layups and get rejected and defenders not even block and 1,000 bunnies missed, it's not for me. It's not. And trust me, I love the NBA and I cover the NBA. I couldn't stand when the NBA went south with the All-Star weekend. I mean, I used to love when these guys were playing hard friggin' defense, man. And they were going at it. I mean, those were fun games to watch. You go from 250,000 maxes to millions, but there's no increase in the profit. If anything, less profit. The merch sales are down, and the ticket, less attendance is down overall. So attendance is spotty, Ash. It's spotty, but you got to remember something. It goes back to also the revenue, what they're getting from TV and the broadcast deals. Period. And the ratings, believe it or not, they're still bringing in some eyeballs. Like if you look at the most highly rated games this season, they've all been involving which team? Indiana. Exactly, Rich. That is why last year's Pay Us More shirts proves they don't care. It's exactly it. It's exactly it. Pay us more, and then we're going to give you that crap, right? Rich, that was not a game. That was a clown. It was. It was a clown show. So you guys sit there on a Saturday night and you invest your time, and I'm all for it, man. But come on. The game was trash. And I'm not debating who phoned it in and who didn't phone it in. I'm not. Just get rid of it. I don't care about someone missing a layup or that's the low-bearing fruit, man. I don't care if it was Wilson, Clark, Miles. I don't care if it was Jones. I don't care if it was Howard. I don't care if it was Stewart. Well, I don't care. Could be player XYZ. Again, it goes back to, and again, Sunday edition on Q, Rich Quinones here. If you like the content and the channel, please subscribe. If you don't, you can still subscribe. You can troll me all you want. Just keep the comments respectful to each other. With everything going on, just for a day, just for a night, you almost forget about it, and then you get into the second half of the season. And that's really what I've been saying. I've never seen a league that has tripped over itself as poorly as they have. Larry chimes in, Q, I know you like Reese, but 0 points. What are we doing here? 9 minutes, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. I'm not surprised. She fails to shoot and flops for foul shots. Horrible product last night. Again, it's not about one set player. JW turns around. Q, I was out last night. Unwatchable. Legit competition is one thing the WNBA has to offer, the NBA can't. Too stupid to offer their one advantage. This is why I'm saying, so it's very easy and a lazy take and narrative to say, if you don't like it, don't watch. We get it. I've been saying that for 20 plus years. If you don't like it, you don't have to watch. If you don't like the halftime show, don't watch. No one's going to hold you to it. Again, the point is this. The point is this. If you want to be taken serious, then you have to give me a serious product. That's all I'm saying. If you want to be taken serious, if you want naysayers to turn around and say, I checked it out for the first time, not bad. Not bad. I like the game. I like the product. I like what I saw. Can't do that last night. You can't. You can't do that. You can't walk away like that. Media Sophie. It was horrible. It was horrible. Tanya chimes in. You're asking too much from these casuals, Q. They're player fan. No, you know what, Tanya? T, you're 100% correct. And they get exposed on the comment section. They chime in for once. And, we're talking hoops. But they don't watch the games like you guys do. I can say this. The viewer, since we've dived a little more into hoops centric wise, obviously the stuff with the NBA, which I always do, but the WNBA, we're talking about 95% of a new audience are not casuals. You guys watch these games. You watch the league. You understand the rotations. You know who the friggin' coaches are. You're just not popping on a Sunday, having a cold one or a cup of coffee, and you're like, that guy's head's about to explode. He's getting all bent out of shape over X, Y, and Z. Nah, you guys watch. You know exactly what you're talking about. And I appreciate that. And the others, they're casuals. They're casuals. It is what it is. But if you're going to be taken serious, then be serious, man. Don't act like a clown. Don't go out there and give me reason to think your product's a clown. And the media, you're just as fault, some of you guys. Really bad. You have to. You have to sit there and grill her. And I will respect you more. My problem is this. No one has an issue. If you go back to the Cunningham clip I played a couple days ago, if you go back to the Cunningham clip, right? They basically drilled her because they were trying to cancel her and the I gotcha moment. Period. And she wasn't having it. She spoke intelligently. She was educated. She was clear. She was concise. She didn't sit there and say, it's the last time I'm addressing it. But no disrespect to Angel. Angel sat there, got in a tizzy and a fizzy over what Brondello said. The coach gets suspended. She apologizes. She reaches out. She doesn't accept the call. And then she says, this is the first time and last time I'm going to address it. Now, and the media backs off. But they didn't do that with Cunningham. Now, you explain to me why that is. And I'll leave it here and I'll let you guys ponder that for a moment and pontificate on that. That's the issue with the league. Look how it's covered. It's not covered fairly. It's not covered objectively. It's not. It really isn't. They pick and choose who they want to go after. They pick and choose who to poke, prod. They pick and choose if we're going to attack a player, if we're going to support a player, if we're going to gloss over a player, if we're going to give, one player shine and flowers. It's a piss poor environment. It is a toxic culture, this league. It's not a league. It's not. It's the velvet rope. It's a club. You're either in it or you're not. And you've got players that are talented. Don't get me wrong. I've said this many times. There's talent within this league. You've got a handful of really good ball players, man. I don't care. Black, white, gay, straight. I don't care. If you can ball, you can ball. Ball knows ball. And the league has some talent. But when you put out that crap last night, in addition to everything else, how the media views you, covers you, the divisiveness, the commissioner that's so indifferent, and you want to tell the fans, take us serious, and you put out that garbage last night, then guess what? The fan has every right then to be critical. The fan has every right to take this league as a joke. I'm not condoning going after the players and being prejudiced or racist. There's no place for that. There's no place for that. Again, apples and oranges. Stick to the script. The league had an opportunity, national TV, to send a message. Go out, play hard, be competitive, good sportsmanship, little chip on the shoulder. Let's go out, let's ball. And they did it last night. And now people today, and rightfully so, are ripping the league and saying the product stinks. It's a clown show. What the hell is this commissioner doing? How embarrassing is that? Because that's what a lot of people are saying today. Period. Maria says they're never going to ask the important questions. They're cowards about not being invited to the party. That's all it is. That's all it is. That is a major problem too. That's I've been in hundreds of locker rooms, man. And I've had players come up to me. Why'd you say that on the radio? Why'd you say that? Why? Why'd you take that? Listen, I get it, but they'll respect you if you're just fair. And if you state your case, why you said something or wrote something or went on the radio and had this type of opinion. It's not about screaming. It's not about what we're seeing on the rat ship with some of these other talking heads. where they're just sticking it, throwing it out there. I guarantee you'll get the casuals on TV tomorrow talking about the All-Star Game and have no idea half the league, 5 to 10 players, aside from Wilson, Caitlin Clark, and that's it. And Cunningham and buckets. That's it. And maybe Angel Reese. Because they're casuals. It gives them content. It gives them fodder. So, yeah, I take it serious. So when I'm on the air and I'm trying to give you guys some engagement and content, I just don't flip it on and say, here we go. Like, I know what I want to talk about. And we can take it in a certain direction. But also, I'm trying to be fair. I'm trying to be opinionated. But I'm also trying to be objective and realistic. And what I saw last night, objectively speaking, was a piss-poor product. And realistically, if this league wants to be taken serious, you can't deliver what you delivered last night. You can't. And memo to the media, you got to go after this commissioner. You have to go after this commissioner. You got to ask her the important questions. The questions that the players want answers to. The questions that owners want answers to. The questions that the fan base want answers to. And we know those questions. We already know the 3 to 4 to 5 questions. It is a piss-poor league, and it is a piss-poorly run league. I'm still flabbergasted that some of you actually think this league is run properly. She has no bearing, no couth. She can't read the room. She can't. Like, I would be embarrassed if I was the commissioner of last night. She's not going to come out and call him out because she's trying to placate two demographics, two audiences. So she's going to go at the end of the season, Adam Silver, 42% equity, right? NBA, Adam Silver is going to say, state the case. And you know what she's going to say? The growth, the revenue, the ratings, and the bottom line, the P&L, profitability. And Adam Silver is probably going to sit there and say, keep doing a good job. By the way, fix the officiating a little bit. Make sure the fans don't get after the players too much. Or it's going to be a shit show the second half of the season. There's going to be an incident on the floor, and Adam Silver is going to be forced to remove her. It's either one of those two things. I don't know if there's such backlash that she decides to resign. But the only reason this league has come into light, okay, has come into light like it has over the last several months, I hearken back to the Thomas foul against Clark. And the fact that the flagrant 1, 48 hours, flagrant 2, suspension, Thomas, unfortunately gets sickening, disgusting death threats called racial slurs. Then you get the Gray incident with the bettor. Then you have Clark coming out a week later, never saying anything, and then finally speaking. You get Silver pushing the commissioner for the suspension. That's why the league, every time you turn around, it's just another issue. Another issue. It's just, when it rains, it pours, man. And last night you could have a little bit of sunshine. Again, don't treat it like Game 7, but you can't treat it like it's a glorified friggin' run at the Y. You can't. You can't. I mean, can you meet me halfway a little bit? Sophie will be fine. My point is, let me get to this. My point is the media blackout, which was coordinated. They are going to go after her big time. Just wait. They're going to be nonstop. They're going to be nonstop. Period. They're going to try to catch her in an I got you moment. She's too smart for that. And she is a type of person, an individual, that strikes me as, bring it on. You're not going to get me. Margaret, I don't have much to say. No skills, tricks on display, play for 2 charities, money from buns on seat. Oh, buns from seats go straight to it was poorly organized the whole weekend. And you are a big fan. May lose a lot of players to Project B if you can make millions in about 5 months. Why would you come back to the WNBA? So this is another reason, Ash, that I said months ago, if I was Caitlin Clark, I would totally start my own friggin' league and get the funding and the backing. I would do it and poach some of the league, or turn around and grab some of the young talent from the Upshot League, and you don't have to pay them like they're a vested pro, like they're a vested veteran, right? Watch once they start really going after Sophie, they will target Caitlin and address her comments. They will. Of course they are. They're going to play both sides. It's disgusting. It really is what the media does. It is bad, man. ESPN reporters are the worst. Don't even get me started with the rat ship and all that other crap. And I gotta, again, Ryan Clark, gotta sit there and cry? Get the hell out of here. Suck it up. You lost your friggin' job. You're making millions. Go away. You know why you lost your job? Because you're a race baiter. Stop. Come on. Anyone who has hard questions loses their press pass to WNBA. Happened to several independent reporters and media. Big networks don't let them ask those questions. You know that. It doesn't matter. Take the chance. Who gives a shit? It's not the end of the world. Then create your own content and go after the league and report it on the way you want to report it. I mean, let's not think this league is holier than thou, man. Seriously. I mean, it's bad enough when I used to cover teams in the locker room, and I'm not going to name the teams, but some coaches and some PR staffs, you don't even get a friggin' follow-up. You try your best. I don't know, man. Michael, I don't know. I don't know. He could be from the bunker. I don't know. He can be a cash. He can be casual. He can be a troll. See, what happens is the Q crew, you guys, the 700-something odd comments, you guys exposed to frauds, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. But if I got a shot, I'm asking that question. You know why? Because if I lose my credential, I'm probably going to get picked up by a network anyway because I had the balls to say something. James says it's not a league, it's a club, or that's how they're running it like a club. 100%. Velvet rope. You're this side or you're that side. Period. And I'll tell you something else too. The players are very quick to go on social because they know behind social they're protected. They can tweet whatever they want. There's going to be backlash, but they can come up with responses and it doesn't have to be in real time. Some of the reporters are slick and they're all about the I gotcha moment. And again, I go back, and the reason I bring up the Angel Reese situation is because you can't get a coach suspended. You can't paint a coach who's been in the league for 27 years, has won, who's got a very good body of work and resume and track record. You can't then all of a sudden paint the broad stroke and call her a racist because you did not understand the context of comments. You were offended, no problem with that. So then you speak to the media. The issue I have, whether it was Angel Reese, black, white, yellow, blue, green, I don't care what she looks like. My issue is you can't say what you said, get the coach suspended, and then within 30 seconds, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, this is the first and only time I will address it. It does not work like that. And this is why I said before, she looked very uncomfortable because if you press her, she's going to slip. Some people just slip. They don't know how to handle the microphone. They stutter, they stammer. It's like you're at home on a Sunday and the phone rings and you get that solicitation call. You know it's a solicitation call because they're like, "Hi, is Mr. Jones there?" And you're like, "Who's speaking?" And they start to stutter and stammer and get nervous. And you know for a fact it's a sales call and you start to get nervous and you're like, "What the hell's going on here?" It's the same thing with some of the players. It's the same exact thing. Some players are fit to deal with the media and some players aren't. It doesn't mean they're stupid. It doesn't mean they're uneducated. It just doesn't mean, it means they're not schooled enough. And that's where PR comes in and they protect said player. She looked very uncomfortable. She did. It was, I want to get this over with. But then you have a 5-minute interview with Cunningham and she's swaying back and forth, smiling, nodding her head because she knew you weren't going to get me. I see it all the time. I've seen it in so many leagues over the years with players. Some players eat that microphone up and they spit the reporter out. Other players, the reporters love it because it's low-bearing fruit, man. They know they can get you. The worst thing she should have done is even speak until somebody schooled her a little bit and say, listen, you have to allow follow-up questions. Because if you don't allow follow-up questions, then you are controlling the narrative, and that's not how it should be. It should be a give and take. I comment, you comment. I say something, you guys say something. But it doesn't work like that. That is the problem. Some of them are very green, And some of these reporters have been around for a long time, and they know exactly how to word it. They can be sneaky. They can be crafty. They know how to craft a sentence, and they know how to take your comment, depending upon your tone, your hesitation, your diction, or your pause. Trust me, been there. Do this for a living. I mean, thousands of athletes I've interviewed over the years. Thousands of athletes, pre, post, halftime, post-fight, pre-fight, doing podcasts with former players. Some of them, they're schooled. They know how to address. They know how to speak. Some of them are really smart, but they don't know how to address. They don't know how to speak. And that's when you leave yourself very vulnerable and open to criticism if you say the wrong thing or you start to backpedal, you start to backtrack. That's the difference. So if you're going to go out there and you're going to have these claims, then you better be able to face the reality of a reporter asking you follow-up questions. And it goes back to these reporters who refuse to even go after the commissioner. That is a major, major, major problem. Look, said networks, like I said, ESPN for years, when they had the All-Star Game, the Home Run Derby, they're asking Manfred softball questions. When ABC sits there and you get the young girl interviewing Adam Silver, sorry, she's not going to go after him. They're not going to bring up sports betting or sports gambling. The NFL, everyone knows you got someone from the NFL Network interviewing Roger Goodell. Well, what do you think? They're going to ask him about officiating? Not going to happen. State of the Union, State of the League. Are you going to add more markets? Hey, by the way, I know you're really tapping into Europe. I know you love London. Anything going on with Mexico? Where are you at with the NFL right now? How about the growth of the league? They're really not going to hammer home the questions. And there's a reason some of these commissioners don't go on some of these spots. Dan Patrick was not going to, I gotcha, Kathy. It wasn't going to happen. Dan Patrick was not going to give you an I gotcha moment. Dan Patrick was going to formulate his questions in a very genuine, sincere, but fair way and ask the tough questions because that was his moment. Dan Patrick was not going to have Kathy Engelbert on the radio sitting up there while they were both, by the way, 15 feet away from each other during his show, talk about growth and expansion. He wasn't. He was going to ask about the treatment of Caitlin Clark. He was going to ask about the poor officiating, the physicality of the league. How does she believe she can address that? What does she need to do to improve that? Flip the script, change the perception. And she chose to not go on because she knew at the end of the day, she would have got tripped up. She would have got tripped up. And that is a problem. That's why, again, man, I can't for the life of me, man. I should have made the event free. Can of food for the local food banks. What a stupid scam this BS league is. I mean, listen, I think here's the other thing. And by the way, it's an interesting point you bring up. This league supports what they support, and I don't have a problem with that. But to your point, if you want to do something different, then that's kind of it, right? That's kind of it. Do something a little different. It's bad enough some of the players don't want certain logos and patches on the uniforms, which again, don't get me started. Control the friggin' league. Don't let the prisoners run the asylum. Don't. Everyone wants to make a statement. Well, yeah, that's a perfect example. You want to make a statement? Okay. Then do something like this. Hey, you know what? You want to have a patch? You want to support something? We'll throw it on there. They didn't wear the USA 250 patches on the uniforms, but I don't hear people talking about that, right? Because that's a, quote, difficult balancing act. Because we were around 250 years ago. What a joke. That's what I'm saying. It's a social experiment. It's not a league. It's not. They wanted to have their biggest stars wear USA 250 patches. Nope. Not happening. Nope. Right? Because you get a couple players, upset the apple cart. The patches were in partnership with a nationally nonpartisan and congressional-backed America 250 organization. And then you bring politics into the equation. Okay, so maybe you support, awareness for domestic violence, domestic abuse, cancer, breast cancer, something, right? St. Jude, which is an unbelievable cause. Something, homeless shelter, something. Like now you're kind of giving back, are you not? You're contributing to society. You're giving back. It's a great idea. But we've got selfish people and we have selfish players. And that is because of the commissioner. I mean, you really know when it comes to athletes, the genuine ones, the ones that really care, not care about what people think, but care to make a difference. Care to make a difference. So if your salary is going up $400,000 and you got 20 something odd players, I mean, you can't contribute a couple $100,000 to, say, the homeless shelter of Chicago, or $100,000 to domestic violence, against domestic violence, spousal abuse, something. I mean, they're so outspoken when it benefits them, when it benefits their cause. But yet, these other causes that are very important in life, that a lot of athletes will back and sponsor. I never like when the NFL says you can't wear certain cleats. Listen, man, if they're putting millions towards a charity, let them wear the friggin' shoes. Let them wear it, unless it's something that's hateful and harmful. Don't get all bent out of shape because you got the pink ribbon. I mean, and I'm glad that, now these leagues recognize that, as they should. They should. But the league drops the ball in so many ways. They just continuously sabotage themselves, man. It's bad. It really is. And like I said, again, this is hilarious. So here's Scott. You can tell he's a troll and has no idea what he's talking about. Nobody cares because it was never organic from the court. The only reason you're talking about CC is because of what Angel did in the championship. No one was covering CC before that. Dude, troll away. Get out of here. You have no idea what you're talking about. Covered college hoops for a very friggin' long time. I actually said while Caitlin Clark was in college, the player she reminded me of was Elena Delle Donne, who you probably have no idea who Elena Delle Donne is. Everyone cares. That's why we have over 500, 600 something on comments, and the WNBA fans chime in. So just stop. Can't compare WNBA. Exactly. Thank you. I love the guys that chime in and sit there and say nobody cares, but I see like 26 comments from you guys respectively, like bang, 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 bang. You can't, because you already know the product you have. That's kind of my point, Michael. You already know the product. You already know what it is. So now you're kind of running this little social test, little experiment. Here we go. Let's see what these girls can do on a Saturday night in Chicago, All-Star Game. What's the fuss about? And then you flip it on and you see garbage. That's exactly what it was. Garbage. Kathy wanted to be the savior of the league, and CC brought in more. And then the 2022 investors increased value of every franchise, leading to a higher expansion price tag. That's Kathy's plan. Yeah, so interesting, Miss B. Always appreciate it. Funny, because if you think about it, she's going to take the credit for that. But to your point, we know who was the catalyst behind that. And that's one of the pros that Kathy has, the bullet in her chamber, when she states her case with Adam Silver, because the valuation of these franchises has gone up exponentially. Exponentially. Period. If you started watching I've actually been watching women's basketball for about 25 plus years. I actually call women's games too, but you can try back, Scott. No worries. You trying to do the I gotcha, and you're still chiming in. Oh my goodness, that's funny. Now calm down, Reese's Pieces fan. CC was well known in high school, obviously not as popular when she became the leading scorer in college history, but she was known. Yeah, she was. See, people, listen, everyone, there's always a couple fools in the room, right? And this is what they want to do. They want to start going the black, the white. They want to sit there and say, you got one player talking trash to another player. It's the only reason she's recognizable. Kind of like everyone says, oh my God, remember that first time that brunette got out of the car with Paris Hilton? You weren't looking at the blonde, you were looking at the brunette who happened to be Kardashian. But if you actually knew anything, you knew who her father was prior to. But I get it. Trolls are going to trolls, and, it is what it is. I love basketball, period. And I do like the league. I'm critical of the league, but that's because I have an opinion and I like the league. But as I said, I love calling games, and I call a lot of overseas games too, and they take the sport a lot more serious. They do. They take sport a lot more serious, and I think a lot of that has to do with they are playing at such a young age, man. I mean, the rule of thumb in Europe is you get a 13, 14-year-old, they're playing against 17, 18-year-olds. That's what CYM in Texas does. They get these kids at 9, 10, 11, 12 years old. They're playing 18-year-olds. They want to play them against men. They do the same thing with some of the women's leagues over there. You check out some of the leagues, whether it's Turkey, Greece, Malta, Spain, Portugal. These girls are playing, they're 9, 10, 11, 12. They're playing against 16-year-olds. 16-year-olds are playing against 20-year-olds. 20-year-olds are playing against, 33, 34, 35-year-olds. It's a different quality of play. It really is. And if you turned on last night for the first time and you were casual, not good. Not good at all. That's all I'm saying. Man, the trolls are coming out on a Sunday. Whew. Guys, don't let them get to you. Don't let them get to you. Don't let them get to you. Let them play for home court advantage in the finals of a championship series. Kind of like MLB did, right? World Series. Let me see. Women's basketball since the 80s. All right, Scott. Good for you. That's good for you, man. I like that. I'm curious, what colleges were you watching? Right? I mean, if you can easily sit there and you can really be the casual though. But don't tell people, what they do and what they don't do and what they watch and what they watch. I mean, what are you going to sit there? I mean, you're going to bring up one or two players? It's very easy to kind of just throw in one or two players from back in the day, is it not? I mean, anyone can do that, right? I mean, or you want to go old school and talk about Nancy Lieberman and those great ODU squads, right? I mean, we can have that conversation because trust me, you're not going to get me. I say this with confidence. I know what I'm talking about. You want to try to get someone else, have at it. And I appreciate the fact that you've been watching women's hoops for as long as you say you have been. But don't tell the commenters who have been chiming in and watching the league for years that they haven't been watching the league for years. Don't be disingenuous like that. You can have an opinion, but again, come on. Don't be disingenuous. They know what they're talking about. Regina, what do we got here? Cece played like shit, and you all are mad and trying to trash them because she didn't win MVP, even though she was shit on the court. I don't know who said that. I never said Caitlin Clark should have been the MVP, but all right. Always appreciate that. Actually, I would say that the WNBA has at least one. Oh, come on. David, come on, stop. We don't go that route. Angel was complicit in trying to get a coach removed, yet Miles uses a slur in a game and nothing, just saying. It's a double-edged sword, man. It is funny how people sit there and say, nobody cares, but yet, what are we at? 700 something on comments? Right? Angel didn't have shit to do with Brondello being suspended for a game, but CC and the media was the reason AT was suspended. Whoa, I mean, come on, man. You are way off base. Come on. Angel Reese was the exact reason Brondello got suspended. Stop. Regina, don't expose yourself like that. I appreciate you chiming in. Respect the comment. Stop. And if you get throat punched, if you're throwing a punch and you're punching someone in the throat, probably the official should have called the right way. Like, that's utterly I mean, we know your line of thinking right now. We know where you're coming from. That's not going to fly on the show. I appreciate the comment. Respect it. Wholeheartedly disagree. I mean, we know exactly why she was suspended. It has nothing to do with black or white. She throat punched Caitlin Clark. Should have been a flagrant 2. They waited 24, 48 hours. And if the commissioner had the balls to suspend her right there and then, Adam Silver wouldn't have to step in. And yes, Angel Reese is the exact reason Brondello got suspended. Because if she doesn't tweet out a clown emoji and then friggin' walk it back, the coach isn't suspended after the coach profusely apologized, and she's been in the league for 27 years. Come on, stop. What are we doing? Come on. You guys got to get up early on a Sunday to try to catch us. Come on. Listen, I'm a fan. I've said it. But people mistake two things. They want a cheerleader, which I'm not. I can be a fan, but I also be critical. That's all I'm saying. That's it. Reginald, I'm sorry. I think I called you Regina. Relax. Calm down. It's not that bad. Relax. You don't need to curse. Relax, relax, relax. That's okay. Yeah, she's laughing all the way to the bank. If she probably's walking to the bank. Maybe she tripped. I don't know. Relax, though. Don't be so angry, right? We get it. We get it. A lot of hostility coming from you today, my man. Relax. It's okay. I guess you don't like, that people call her out. But I got to be honest. You are exposing yourself, my guy. You really are. You are exposing yourself. Because if you think for 1 minute that coach should have been suspended, you're out of your friggin' mind. And we know where your line of thinking is. And that's dangerous, man. Are you going to condone the hate that Cunningham gets, Clark gets, or you're okay with it? Or you're only going to condone hate that Angel Reese or Gray gets from a sports bettor? I'll let you think about that. Again with the cursing. Wow, man. Angry. Man. Guys got to relax a little bit. Whew. How many points did AR have last night? I think as many as you and I, Tanya. I think. Plus, she tripped. Look, and I like Angel Reese. Whenever the players understand that conduct is such as important as proficiency, the league will become watchable. That is a sound and astute comment. Correct. I agree. You have to handle you got to have decorum. Black, white, yellow, green, I don't care. Let's get it out of the way. Gay, straight, I don't care, man. Act a certain way on the floor. Conduct yourself like a friggin' pro. Don't act like a punk. And I'll say this on any league. Don't act like a punk. Don't act like an entitled, spoiled brat. Last week, I got hammered for saying Caitlin Clark needs to mature. I posted a short. You guys went off on me. And I'm a Caitlin Clark fan. I love her game. Love her game. I think she's a generational player. But I also have said the refs call the game differently against her, which we know, and the players play her differently because they can get under her skin. By her own admission, Caitlin Clark said she needs to mature. She didn't use that word, but she used the words. And I got hammered for it. Oh, you're No, I'm not supposed to be anything. I'm supposed to be fair and objective. And I am. I like Angel Reese. I do. I watch enough of her games, and I watch her in college. Listen, she has an edge. She's got a chip. I wish she worked on her offensive game a little bit. She turned into a hell of a rebounder. She has. But I don't like the fact that she speaks to the media and closes off because she controls the narrative. I have a problem with that when you have other players who are being pressed that continue to answer questions. And again, for the narrow-minded, thick-headed people tuning in, I don't care if she's black, white, yellow, green, blue, purple, orange. I would say the same friggin' thing. If that was Caitlin Clark and one of the coaches came out and said, you know what, I can't believe that cracker gets all the fouls, and she tweeted an emoji, she got the coach suspended, and then she turns around and says, it's the first time I'm going to address it, I would have a problem with it. No. You're going to be hit, bombarded with more follow-up questions. And maybe that's not the best term, but you know what I'm saying, because I never heard protected species before in my life until that coach mentioned it. Honestly. And the league proved she was because they suspended the coach. But that's nor here nor there. But some of you guys, calm down. It's Sunday. Wherever you're at, let me know. Calm down. Take a walk. Breathe. It'll be okay. Don't get so animated. Don't get so crazy. Don't get so crazy. Just relax. Relax. It's okay. And again, you can sit there and criticize the player for what they're doing on the floor. There are a lot of players that are talented, but there's a lot of turnovers. There's a lot of lackluster effort and defense. You can't be in a high-level league and miss as many layups and whine, bitch, and moan to the officials constantly. That goes to what one of the commenters said. Conducting yourself a certain way. I'm not saying placate. I'm not saying kiss ass. I'm not saying any of that. I'm not saying bow down to the Almighty. I love passion. I love fire. I love energy. I love that. I wanted to see that last night. That's why I'm so annoyed today. I wanted to see that last night. We didn't get any of that. We got none of that. We got none of the trash talk. We got none of, man, I wanted competitive spirit because I wanted that game to be competitive enough where today we're turning around saying, you know what, that's how the league needs to go about it. Put all the differences aside, all the stuff, all the placating, all the race issues, the skate, the stray, the politics, Congress coming in, Kathy this, Kathy that, Caitlin this, Angel this, Paige this, Sophie that. Get it all out of the way. Play ball, man. Let's go. Let's watch. We didn't get any of that. We didn't get any of that. It's not a player versus player conversation today. As a whole, it was a letdown last night. As a whole, the media does not go after this commissioner of fear of backlash. As a whole, this commissioner has zero leadership abilities. None. And if it doesn't change, it's going to be the same thing next year and the following year. Forget about the product on the floor. Forget about who's the face of the league, the ratings, the revenue. It's going to be the league will never be taken serious. It'll never be taken serious. That's all I'm saying, man. And that is a problem. And the worst thing they did last year is wear those stupid friggin' shirts. Last night's shirt should have been like, we owe you money. Because that's bad, man. It's bad. Pay us more, pay us more. Well, your salary's increased 400%. And you give me that effort last night, you give me that product on the floor, you should be embarrassed. Pay us what we deserve, overpaid league. I can say this, I like the handle. I know a lot of these semi-pro leagues in the States. There's only a couple women's leagues. Overseas, a little different animal. Product's not that bad. But semi-pro as a whole, I mean, look. There are certain leagues, right? USBL, ABA, WABA, TBL, SBA, 9450, which is a pretty damn good league that I just called games for. A lot of talent, a lot of guys played overseas, a lot of guys played in the NBA, had a cup of coffee in the NBA. There's good talent. You just got to find the right league. The problem is some of these leagues get saturated because they have way too many teams. But that's just stateside. That is a major problem. And also, to your point, a lot of these leagues don't pay players. So what do you expect? This league pays players. They have an opportunity, some of them make millions of dollars. NIL, branding, marketing, modeling, clothing lines, apparel, sneakers, shoes. They're not starving. They're not. This league, they're not starving. But I'm not taking you serious if you're making that kind of money and you're playing that kind of crap. I'm not. Landing zone should not be protected. You're going to get pushed and shoved, and you shouldn't argue with the refs. That is not a reference to CC. I don't know what is. Yeah. The officiating has to be addressed first and foremost because think about it. It's a domino effect. If they clean up the officiating, if they invest in full-time refs, if they're trained properly, if they don't score out properly, meaning anything, an A- you can live with, but anything less than an A or B+, suspend them. Put them on suspension, right? I mean, you're starting a new job, you're 90-day probation. If they can't figure it out after a couple weeks, they get trained. If they're still that bad and incompetent, you fire them. Hit them in the wallet. Now, you might get a recycling and retread. You have to continuously and constantly train officials, train referees, because my experience, every official calls a game differently. It's just like when I call the fights and you have the judges and the scorecard. They all see things subjectively, but some things shouldn't be subjective. I know a clean body shot and then I'm throwing a combination or a right cross that catches a glancing shot. I'm scoring it off of the body shot. But if I turn around, get the body shot, counter with a right hand, and I crack his jaw, I'm scoring that combination. If I knock him back in the ropes and the ropes held him up, I can make a case for a 10-8 round. That is just as good as a knockdown. In these leagues, you should know the definition by now of traveling, of walking, of a charge, of setting your feet, of not setting your feet, of a lane violation, of 3 seconds, of goaltending, right? And I understand some of it's a little subjective. Did I slide over under the basket? Did I set my feet? Or was it bang, bang? Did I drive my elbow in, dribble drive to the basket? I saw a lot of offensive fouls the other night in that Indiana game. A lot. Or did the defender make contact, i.e. swipe across Caitlin Clark's face? That's a foul. That's an N1. Some calls, they're clear as day. They are. They really are. You start to go into the video after replay. You start to go into instant replay. You start to go in these challenges. When you have a lot of calls, a lot of fouls being whistled on the floor, it kills the consistency and the flow of a game. Now, if it's a foul, you call it. But I also believe, like anything else, if you miss it, we know these leagues. I'm going to get you in the fourth. NBA is notorious for that. I didn't call it on the road in game 2. I'm going to call it back here in game 3. It's just how these games are officiated. And these NBA refs, they make mistakes left and right, do they not? I mean, go to the NBA Finals, man. Wemby should have been suspended. The league was not going to allow that because they wanted that series to go 7. And the Knicks said, no, we'll be damned. 45 closeout game, Brunson, you win by 5. Or you win in 5. This league needs to really get, really educated officials and refs. And the other thing is, the officials in this league, they play favorites. I believe they officiate a game with a bias and agenda towards certain players. That's my opinion. You guys might think I'm a conspiracy guy, but I watch enough knowing when they're targeting a certain player and they are not going to give them the call. Now, I don't like the arguing. I don't like the mouthing off. I get it. It's why I said sometimes you have to have a little resolve. Sometimes you have to have a little restraint. And sometimes you're like, enough is enough. Let the coach challenge that. Let the coach argue for you. Let the coach get the tea. I always hearken back to that. But I'm telling you, man, if you watch this league, there are questionable calls, right? I mean, Reggie Miller back in the day, always delay kick. Players do it. Some of these leagues don't allow it. I know 94-50, they went away from that delay kick. Landing zone. Well, if I'm lunging in as a defender to contest a shot, I'm not really looking where my feet are landing. I'm sorry if I don't give you a little space. I'm contesting the shot. Like, I get it. There's gray. But in the NFL, you can call holding every single solitary play. You can. You can call pass interference every single solitary play, passing play. It becomes very subjective. You just want consistency. That's all. After every Sunday, when I'm on the air on Monday and we're recapping the NFL, I always feel over the last 20 years, it's been more pronounced over the last 10, you're talking about officiating. After a while, it's like it gets nauseating, and then people think the games are rigged. They're fixed. And then you bring in the betting line. It's got to be rigged. Look how the game's being called. Now, am I going to sit here and say the WNBA is officiated like that Kings and Lakers series with Donaghy? No. I've spoken to Tim 1,000 times. I interviewed Tim after he did the 60 Minutes piece. He came on my show that Monday, Fox Sports affiliate, only spot in the country. And he talked about how easy it was to manipulate a game. Little points of a game, right? Little stutter, stagger, step. No, that's travel. Going back the other way. Not going to call it offense. We'll get you down the other. Like, this league, if you watch it closely, you would think these refs are in the bag because they miss blatant calls. That's got to be rectified. That's got to be cleaned up. It's okay sometimes if you miss a call. If you argue, you know what? That's over the back, man. Nah, they're getting positioning. But if it's a blatant travel, if it is a blatant elbow to, the gut off a drive, or, you're getting raked across the face, like, there should be a whistle. And if they can't do that, if they can't officiate to the best of their ability at a certain high level standard that's been in place and set by the league, then they've lost the right to officiate these games. So you either suspend them, you fine them, you fire them, and you keep training throughout the year. You get full-time refs. This is what you're paying them for. Now, Mike in Ohio says, Q, you think they'll ever do a pool report? I think that's a mistake because we already know what happens in these other leagues. The last thing the fan base wants to know is that you screwed up a call on a Sunday that cost a team a win. You just don't want it to get so bad where it's so pronounced come playoff time it costs someone a game and a series. You just don't. You just don't. Arguing with the refs at this point is a balancing act. Do it responsibly without causing your team a suspension. But I don't think the players can or will. They're so emotional. The league is full of petulant children. They are. And when they don't get their way, when a kid doesn't get their way, what do? They kick and scream. And the refs are probably sitting there saying, we're getting tired of this too, but they're not helping the cause. WNBA All-Star Game should be played for retired legends. If they're going to be lazy, slow, and lacking in defense and effort, then they should be retired. Truer words, maybe never spoken, right? Truer words. I mean, I wouldn't mind getting some of these legends out there, throwing them back out there, but to your point, not good. It's just not good. Maybe they all know it's a shit show and like it like that. That's why they don't like the eyes. That's why they don't like the eyes. Have to wonder what the payoff is to be second rate, though. How many games before CC gets her 8th? I think it's coming. I would say within 3. Because remember, she now has a rep. She's got a reputation. So they're going to be gunning for her. And the opposition knows that. So if we already know that games are called slanted against her, right? And if I'm a defender and I body her up a little bit, I disrupt a shot, and then I get, I hold my ground and she gets called for an offensive charge and I start clapping and I get fired up, she's going to go off. It's just a matter of time. She said, Ash, she needs to settle down a little bit because she also understands she needs to be on the floor. And you can't be on the floor if you get teased and you're suspended. You just can't, right? Can you talk a little about it? Refs, players, or family members are allowed to bet on games. So you can't control any of that. I mean, players shouldn't bet on games. The problem is these leagues do allow, you can't bet on certain sports or the leagues that you're playing in. It's too much of a free-for-all. So if you're asking me, do I think a player tells their father or their friend, I'm not feeling it tonight. My point total is 15. I think I'm kind of coming down with the bug. I'm a little lethargic. Play the under, and I score 12. You got to remember one thing. It's a really great question. But if there is let me look at the lines real quick. Let's go to the Fever and the Storm. So right now they're on the road. We know the Storm are a bad team. What are they? 6-22, 6-23. I'm going to check, but I bet you Indiana's probably an 8-point favorite, 7.5-point favorite. All right. So they're 7.5-point favorite. Let's say Caitlin Clark's point total is at our average, 21. Right? So now all of a sudden it's minus 110 if you believe she's going to go over 21 points. So she scores 22. I have to bet $110 to win back 100 because the likelihood of her going over 20 against this team is high. If a family member bets $50, that's not raising a red flag. 100, 1,000, it's still not raising a red flag. But if there's a $50,000, $100,000 bet and these books go through and they see these new accounts, then they start to flag the bet. Then that raises an eyebrow. That's why for everyone that always used to make the argument, their friends and their family are betting on, no. If it is a obscene amount of money, like a couple $100,000, then it moves the line. In that regard, a player prop, sometimes these big, sharp bettors will throw that. I've seen people bet, even when I worked in online and in the hotels and sports betting, I used to see these guys bet $100,000 to win, $1,100 because they had $100,000. So in the case of what you're asking me, it's not, you're not really going to monitor it because there's really not suspicious activity unless it's something so outlandish where you're like, oh my God, that draws a red flag. That's opening up the eyes, man. That is really opening up the eyes. And at the end of the day, I can sit there and I can call my cousin and say, yeah, I'm getting ready to board the plane, man. I got to tell you, my back's a little sore. And he can take that information and run with it. I can't control that. I can't control that at all. There's always going to be pronounced bettings in these leagues because, again, when you're talking about the money line, the point spread, the totals, the over, under, I mean, look right now. You know, you get in on the money line with some of these teams, and the Lynx have the shortest odds to win it all, plus 105, and then the Aces are right there at plus 325. If Indiana keeps winning, they might shorten up the odds. Same conversation we had the other day with the MVP conversation. Same exact thing with the MVP conversation. Right now, if you talk about the sports betting market, Wilson is the front runner, minus 360. Minus 360. They're letting you know short odds. She's running away with it because the next two are at plus money. Buckets and Clark. By the way, no Mitchell, which, again, surprising. So if tomorrow, all of a sudden, you saw, Clark's odds go to, I don't know, she goes on a run and her odds start to drop a little bit and it's short money. And then you see like millions of dollars start to go on her side. Then they got to bump it up. They have to make adjustments. So point is, the only way you really bring up a red flag like in the NBA is when you're seeing these different obscure kind of bets that you wouldn't, like, I don't know. Give me an obscure player. I'll pull up Toronto for a second, just for argument's sake. If, let's say, I can't use her because she's hurt. Let's say, I got to give you something obscure. Here you go. Tiana Key. You're probably like, who the hell's that? She's a 6'5" forward out of Kentucky for Toronto. Let's say all of a sudden her player prop was 5 points, right? Which means you think her over-under for scoring is 5 points. And you saw this $150,000 bet on her. That raises a red flag. It raises a red flag because you can pull up the box score. Yeah, she's had a couple, double-digit scoring games here and there, but for the most part, 3, 2 points, 0, 0, 0, 5, 2. Actually, no, I'm looking at minutes. So that would really raise a red flag. 2 points, 5 points, 2 points, 2 points, 1 point. That will let you know that something fishy's going on. It's really for the more obscure, but your point is a good one. It really is, because you never know the information that's being fed. You just don't know. We saw it in the NBA. I mean, Rozier, the line's 8.5. They're down by 9 late in the game. Rozier basically coast to coast, non-contested layup to cover the nut, to cover the spread. Everyone knew he's in on it. Tomorrow, I think we'll do second half. We'll get into more of the MVP conversation. We'll kind of keep it on the floor tomorrow. Also, later tonight, for the NBA heads, Jonathan Marshall is going to join me. We're going to talk some LeBron James to Philly. We'll talk a little betting line and how that's moved as well. But good stuff with the comments, as always. I always appreciate when you guys are chiming in. Always, 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 always. As if you like the content and the channel, subscribe. Or for some that don't like it or the content, you can still subscribe as well. But I always appreciate you guys chiming in on a Sunday. 2 hours goes into books, 2 o'clock straight up on the East Coast. We're on SR 1029 FM The Game, as well as the Odyssey app, my YouTube channel, at RichQNQ. You guys are phenomenal. Even those that were trolling, as always, we're powered by our good friends over at Fresh Roasted Coffee. So the conversation continues mañana. And as I said, we'll get into second half MVP. We'll talk about some of these games coming up, how you see it unfolding. A lot more NBA talk as well. And then we've got an AFC South NFL preview dropping later on this week as well. Hope you enjoyed the show. Appreciate the comments. And like I said, like, comment, subscribe. That's the best way you can support the show, whether we agree or disagree. As long as you guys come correct with respect. You can troll me all you want. Just be respectful of my commenters and the guys and the girls that are engaging and listening in every day. With that, have a wonderful, absolutely wonderful Sports Sunday. As always, be safe, be sound. Appreciate you guys tuning into this edition of On Cue. I'm your host, Rich Quinones. We will talk to you later on tonight with Jonathan Marshall on the NBA. Until then, hasta luego, buen día.